What else you got?
So I feel like I've asked you this.
Okay.
But the man of God, is that God in human form?
All right.
is
Where are
that-
you? Where are you talking
sorry,
about? Here?
chapter 13 at the beginning.
Okay.
Um,
Well, no. All right. So, chapter 13, verse 1. And behold, a man of God came out of Judah by the word of the Lord to Bethel. Jeroboam was standing by the altar to make offerings, and the man cried against the altar by the word of the Lord, and said, O altar, altar, thus says the Lord, behold, a son shall be born to the house of David, Josiah by name, and he shall sacrifice on you the priests of the high places, who make offerings on you, and human bones shall be burned on you. And he gave a sign the same day, saying, This is the sign that the Lord has spoken. Behold, the altar shall be torn down, and the ashes that are on it shall be poured out. And when the king heard the saying of the man of God, which he cried against the altar at Bethel, Jeroboam stretched out his hand from the altar, saying, Seize him. And his hand, which he stretched out against him, dried up, so that he could not draw it back to himself. The altar also was torn down, and the ashes poured out from the altar, according to the sign that the man of God had given by the word of the Lord. And the king said to the man of God, Entreat now the favor of the Lord your God, and pray for me, that my hand may be restored to me. And the man of God entreated the Lord, and the king's hand was restored to him, and became as it was before. And the king said to the man of God, Come home with me, and refresh yourself, and I will give you a reward. And the man of God spoke to the king, If you give me half your house, I will not go in with you, and I will not eat bread or drink water in this place. For so was it commanded me by the word of the Lord, saying, You shall neither eat bread nor drink water, nor return by the way that you came. So he went another way, and did not return by the way that he came to Bethel. Okay. Now, so what it's setting up? No, he's not. The man of God doesn't mean. It's not. I don't think it means like God incarnate.
Right.
Okay. I think it just means a prophet.
Okay.
And that's going to happen is you're going to have different prophets are going to prophesy against Jeroboam because of all the stuff he's doing.
Right.
Okay. I mean, Solomon did bad stuff, but Jeroboam has taken it to another level.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he's talking. There is under King Josiah in the future there's going to be reforms. We'll read about King Josiah later on.
Okay.
But there are going to be reforms in Judah, and even some of those reforms will make their way to Israel. Okay, I think of also like under Hezekiah, there's going to be great reforms in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Okay, and that'll come. But no, we've got prophets then who are, and some of them, it even says later on, now an old prophet lived in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all that the man of God had done that day in Bethel. They also told to their father the words that he had spoken to the king, and their father said to them, Which way did he go? Right? And so it's setting up this, that there are prophets in the area.
Right.
Okay. Now we're going to get some by name here, but there are prophets in the area who are speaking out against what Jeroboam is doing.
Okay.
And they are, and we focus on this prophet. Here's a prophet of, named Elijah and Elisha and Amos or something. But there's a lot of prophets there.
Right.
There are that was a standard position that people held, was prophet.
Okay.
Prophet might be an advisor in the king's court.
Right.
Right. Or a prophet might be on the periphery, advising the king, even if the king doesn't want to hear him.
Yeah.
Right. And so you even see with Elijah and Elisha, they have a school of prophets.
Okay.
And they're building a house for their school of prophets.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that, like a seminary or something?
Right, yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so like they're, I don't know how I would put this. Not like they're regular. Yeah, I guess so. They're just like regular people with the word of God spoken into them.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, that's how they're all called from different places. If you go through and read the Minor Prophets, sometimes it'll even tell you what they did.
Okay.
I was a farmer. I was a shepherd.
Right.
And the Lord, called to so and so when they were in the fields.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is what, like David.
Yeah, he was a shepherd, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a shepherd who's minding his own business, shepherding his dad's sheep, and Samuel comes and anoints him as king. It's like,
Right.
all right, I guess so.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. Yeah.
My last question
Okay.
is from 14:26, chapter 14, verse 26.
14:26.
What is the significance of Rehoboam switching the shields? He took the gold shields and put up bronze shields.
Okay. All right. So, let's see. All right. So in the fifth year, so this is 25. I'll start with. In the 5th year of King Rehoboam, Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem. And he took away the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house. He took away everything. He also took away all the shields of gold that Solomon had made. And King Rehoboam made in their place shields of bronze, and committed them to the hands of the officers of the guard who kept the door of the king's house. And as often as the king went into the house of the Lord, the guard carried them and brought them back to the guard room. Okay, so you've got Egypt sees how weak Judah has become
Right.
in just one generation. Just one generation.
Yeah.
I mean, this would never have happened under Solomon.
Right.
Okay, and so he comes up and he takes. I mean, we talked about how the temple it had a lot of stone, and it was also made out of wood, like a wood roof. And it's not really clear, some of the walls and things. Sometimes it looks like it's made out of stone, and sometimes it looks like it's made out of wood or something. Yeah. But it's overlaid on the inside with gold.
Right.
I mean, this thing is covered in gold. It's like you would walk in. It's just gold reflection everywhere. I mean, and so they said, we want that. If we can get that, we want that. So the Egyptians come in, they're able to take it now, and during this time, at this point, they're getting iron weapons, right? So a bronze weapon isn't really the strongest. It's not the strongest. They're not in the Bronze Age anymore.
Right.
Okay, so now we've got iron weapons, and so I think the replacing of the shields, obviously a gold shield is worthless in battle, right?
Yeah, it's gonna bend.
Okay. Yeah, it'll just fall apart on you and be real heavy.
Right.
So this is more of like a representational thing. This is to show, these guards. If soldiers make it into the king's palace, like, that's not what these shields are for, to protect the king or something.
They're just for show.
They're for show, right? They are. It's kind of like, I remember going to Vatican City and seeing the Swiss Guard, or at least the guys that are all dressed up,
Right.
Then there's like the real guards,
Yeah.
but the guys that are the beefeater looking guys,
And they still have like the little spears.
Yeah. That's not, and so. But I think the big significance then is replacing the gold shields with bronze shields is that they can't afford gold shields.
Okay. Yeah.
So polish up the bronze, make it look real nice.
Right. Paint it gold.
Yeah, but you can see already at this point all the riches of Solomon right out the window.
Right.
Because Rehoboam decided that he wanted to make a name for himself, and because of that, Israel is now imploding.
Yeah.
It's divided into kingdoms. The temple that was beautiful and ornate, and again, the temple, God didn't even want him in the first place, but they've lost. They're losing everything. And again, for God, he doesn't care about gold and silver, right? He doesn't. That's not his thing. That's something that the world cares about.
Right.
But you can see what by the kingdom, the empire, which was robust by worldly standards, it's imploding on itself. Right. So
like the Nicholas, the Russian Tsar, how he was like the last king of Russia before whatever revolution they had during World War I.
Yeah, like the Bolshevik Revolution.
Oh, the Bolsheviks. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was that, and what was there was some crazy guy who was his advisor. And
Yeah.
Nobody liked him.
Yeah. Yep. So,
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. Yeah, so what we're seeing is we're seeing Judah now, or Israel as an empire is now, at this point, is crumbling.
Right.
It's now kind of officially crumbled. One question you have to ask, and we can kind of we'll end with this since you don't have any other questions, is when it says he took away the treasures of the house of the Lord and the treasures of the king's house, he took away everything. Does that include the Ark of the Covenant? That's the question. That's a big historical question. Does that include the Ark of the Covenant?
Does anyone know where it is?
No. Well, there's the Ethiopian Orthodox Church claims that they've got it.
Yeah.
Right? But
now that's where Luke went when he escaped persecution, right? To Ethiopia.
I don't know if Luke went to Ethiopia. I'd have to look that up.
I don't remember who it was, but I think one of them went there and started the church in Ethiopia.
Well, you've got the Ethiopian eunuch that does a lot of, probably goes back and, he was baptized by Philip.
Okay.
And then they've got this long history of like the Queen of Sheba who comes and visits Solomon.
Yeah.
And so they trade. So the Ethiopian tradition is something that is very, I think, unfamiliar to us.
Right.
Because it's localized. I mean, it's talked about in Ethiopia, but not really in a lot of other places. It was like in the 11th century, I think, when there were poems written about the Queen of Sheba and all the relationship with Solomon and all this other stuff. I mean, of course, you get a glance at here in First Kings, but there's also kind of like this, almost a folklore or legend. A lot of it written like in the 11th century A.D.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, Ethiopia has its own very. I want to almost. It's almost like idiosyncratic. It doesn't mean that it's not true. It just means that it's something that is very. It's a part of the Ethiopian church, but not a lot of other churches are really have. Definitely don't focus on it, but definitely. Yeah. Aren't really sure about it. It's like it's interesting.
They were like kind of separate from everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Ethiopia has had an influence. It seems some kind of Judahite influence and definitely Christian influence for a very long time. I mean, Ethiopia has been Christian for a long time.
Yeah, do they have the oldest Bible?
Oh, well, yeah. I don't know. I think in the Ethiopian Orthodox tradition, they even include like First Enoch.
Is that a book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a book. Yeah. Like, it's so apocryphal. It's not even part of the Apocrypha. Like So yeah. They've got a very long, rich Christian history.
Yeah.
Long, rich tradition. I don't know a whole lot about it. But yeah, they claim to have the Ark of the Covenant. Okay. So, did that happen? When did that happen?
Right.
Right. I think the claim though is that well, I should. All right, this could be wrong, but I think the claim is that the Queen of Sheba brought it back
to
when
Ethiopia.
She visited Solomon, so that by the time this happened, it was safe.
Right.
But I don't know.
They probably never know.
I don't know.
It's too far.
Yep.
Out of history.
So anyway, a lot of interesting stuff.
I learned a lot today.
Good. When going here into the future now, we'll see different kings of Israel and Judah, and then really one of the big ones is when Ahab begins to reign over Israel, and that's going to come up in chapter 16, and that's going to usher in kind of the Elijah narrative.
Okay.
So you're going to get to so we're transitioning from kind of the Solomon narrative then to the Ahab, Elijah, Jezebel, Elisha narrative. Yeah. And in between you get kind of the Rehoboam bit and then the crumbling of the kingdoms.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember reading about King Ahab as a kid.
Yeah, well, you'll probably see it with fresher eyes now. Some stuff we don't talk about in Sunday school.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, it's been fun as always. So thank you for your questions.
Yeah, thank you for answering.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.